Hi, I want to bring Cassie in here because Cass had to leave the show yesterday and go see her doctor. And at the time, really didn't tell us what was going on, but it was kind of a stressful day for her yesterday.
Yeah, I had something going on. I've had heart palpitations for a while, and what that is, I'm using that term loosely, so if you're in the medical field, don't come at me. Basically, I have a heartbeat, like your heart beats regularly, and then there's an extra one that comes early, then your heart kind of fills with extra blood, and there's a really hard pump after. And I feel them like at night when I lie down, especially if I've had big meal or wine, and I have family members who've had it, so kind of like for them it was benign, and most heart flutters and like palpitations, I mean, obviously see your doctor, but are usually benign, not a big deal. So I just kind of like ignored it at the back of my mind, but it freaks me out at night when I lie down and you feel your heart not pumping right. Like you can feel it. Like if you've ever been to a parade and you hear like the drum line coming down and you know how you can feel it in your chest.
Yeah.
Like that's how heavy it is. It's almost like you can feel it in your neck, and it's really scary. And of course, my anxiety pings at night. Like, that's when you start thinking about the stupid thing you said in high school to the boy you like all that stuff. And I'm like, that's probably making it seem worse to me. Well, the past couple of weeks, something different has started happening with my heart. It's sort of been going haywire. It's like really fast fluttering in the middle of my chest, and it's nonstop all day, on and off. And it's freaky. It's scary when something in your body that you know is a core component. I mean, Mo, you can relate to this better than anyone.
100%.
Yeah. Of keeping you alive, it isn't working right. And it wasn't something that I needed to go to the ER for because I didn't have like shortness of breath. I wasn't passing out or anything. Like I looked it up. And I'm lucky because my dad's a physician, so I can also call him and ask him like, hey, is this urgent? And he said no. So I booked an appointment with a cardiologist because he's like, you need to check it out though. It can't really wait. It's not a thing you should sit on. So I booked an appointment with a cardiologist and over at Piedmont, and they have an amazing heart team. And I went in for some tests to be run. And while I'm doing this, I'm getting my family history, and I'm finding out all this stuff. My grandfather actually had the same heart condition that Mo and his family has. My grandmother had a super rare heart condition. Like all these things are popping up, and I'm frantic in my head. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have this ischemic heart disease. I'm going to have heart failure. Like all these things. My heart's not working right. Years of not. I mean, I eat well, but I don't eat the best. It's not like I binge potato chips every day, but I eat too much. Like I'm like, it's catching up to me, and my arteries are going to be clogged. I'm only 35. Like all these things are going through my head, and I'm trying to calm myself down because, of course, the stress makes the flutters and the speed worse. So I get in there, and they're taking this. It's probably the most comprehensive doctor visit I've ever been to, and it's one of the few doctor's visits I've been to where I felt truly heard and seen and not dismissed, because I've had EKGs before with my general practitioners, and nothing showed up because, of course, my heart wasn't being weird at the time, and then it was just kind of dismissed. Like, okay, well, we'll keep an eye on it. And it's weird to go a couple times to a couple different doctors and have them find nothing after a 12-second EKG, because that's standard practice. They didn't do anything wrong, but not feel heard. And so feeling heard was wonderful. And it was actually the first time in my life as well. 2 different medical professionals have, one, acknowledged how hard being a parent is in finding time, because there was conversation about how I have to find time for myself to be healthy. And then that being overweight, while it's more in my control, is not entirely my fault, because genetics are at play. And I have never heard a weight loss professional tell me that before. And it made me feel so seen. We had candid conversations about my health and my diet, but also that genetics are at play and my family is heavier. And it was so relieving to be listened to by a doctor and not dismissed because I'm overweight, and just to have them be like, you have a problem, let's do something. So now I have this really handy heart monitor. I don't know if you guys can see it on my chest, that I get to wear for 30 days. And it constantly monitors my heart rate and my beats, and sends the data to my doctors if there's like an abnormal beat or a fluttering or something. And I can also log symptoms. So I'm wearing this for 30 days. I have an echocardiogram booked, and we're running some labs just to try and figure out why my heart all of a sudden is going on this new fun adventure and being all like crazy. And I'm glad I did it. I was so nervous for the appointment because I don't think anybody wants to go into an appointment where they feel like they're going to find out bad news. You know, there are two outcomes. Either you're fine or you're not fine, and they're going to try and fix you, but nobody wants the you're not fine. But heart disease is a huge killer of women. And I think I'm at the point in my life, I should have been at it earlier, where my body's sending me warning signs. You know, this is not normal. This is a warning sign. Something's not right. And I have to listen to it. And Bert, you talked about this the other day. You mentioned it. You know, it came up like you're ignoring warning signs. Your car, you know, it's not going to fix itself because you turn the volume up over that loud rattle. The same as with your body. And knowing this and knowing how I felt, and it's scary. Like just having your heart go haywire, you're like, what is it going to do? Is it going to seize in on itself, or is it going to stop? Is this because I drank too much caffeine today, or is it something more deadly at play? You know, am I being anxious and making this into a thing, or is it, you know, did I just have a sip of alcohol? My heart doesn't like alcohol anymore. And so with all of this, and like it's doing it now, the weird fluttering, and it's just all of this, I'm like, it's time to listen to my body. Heart disease is such a big killer of women. There's not a lot of research put into it. Let's get it done. And so thanks for letting me dip out early yesterday, you guys. But I really felt like it was something I had to do. And I'm relieved. Today I'm relieved. I feel like I'm in good hands. I feel like there's steps being taken. I feel safer than I have in weeks. And it's a good feeling.
Yeah, I always would rather know. I know that we did talk about this the other day. I know so many people that know there's something going on in their body, and they're like, if I just don't go to the doctor, then it's not there. Well, the truth of the matter is, how many times have we heard people say, like, well, they caught it early. Well, if you don't go and at least, you know, pay attention to those signs and that instinct, it could really, really hurt you in the long run. So I'm glad you finally went in and got it done there.
Thank you.
The Bert Show.